parents who look proud as can be that their little man was present for dad's big moment. Check out more pics of Riot's Fashion Week day.
We're still figuring out where that's going to be, whether it's going to be East Coast, West Coast.
Paris froze, not for a model, not for a designer, but for a baby. On June 27th, the world watched as Rihanna and ASAP Rocky's one-year-old son, Riot Rose, made his official public debut at Paris Fashion Week. But this wasn't just a cute photo op. It was a calculated, powerful statement, one that spoke volumes without saying a word. In the middle of flashing cameras, couture chaos, and runway royalty, Riot wasn't just present, he stole the show. Front row, perched on Rihanna's lap, rocking a calm, confident stare like he'd been doing this for years. And just like that, the world realized this family isn't just showing up anymore. They're taking center stage. But what made this moment so striking wasn't just who was there.
Expecting her third child with the rapper, rolled up to ASAP's AWGE Menswear Spring-Summer 2026 show with the...
It was everything that led up to it, and what it reveals about where Rihanna and Rocky are heading next. It all happened at the AWGE Spring-Summer 2026 Menswear Show, a high-fashion event filled with hypebeasts, luxury insiders, and the kind of exclusivity that usually screams "no kids allowed." But Rihanna doesn't follow rules, she rewrites them. As she stepped out, visibly pregnant and glowing, the crowd buzzed. Her outfit, effortlessly disruptive. A long-sleeve striped shirt, buttoned only at the center, casually showcasing her growing baby bump. A pleated miniskirt, slouchy gray socks, and strappy heels, defying expectations of what motherhood looks like.
What are you enjoying about this journey with Riri right now?
Everything about it. I'm loving it.
But it wasn't just her entrance that left people speechless. Clutched to her side, holding his own like a tiny icon in the making, was Riot Rose. 1 year old, curly-haired, calm under the blinding camera flashes, no tears, no tantrums, just pure presence. He wasn't overwhelmed, he wasn't distracted, he looked ready. And this wasn't a quick pass through backstage. Once inside, Riot took his place, front row, on Rihanna's lap, like he owned the seat. Around them, editors whispered, photographers aimed, but all eyes seemed to orbit around this little boy who had, in an instant, become fashion's most unexpected breakout star.
Rihanna and ASAP Rocky's son Riot makes his first official public appearance at Paris Fashion Week. On June 27th,
It was the first time he had ever been formally introduced to the public. And the way he arrived, not through a tabloid, not in a staged paparazzi moment, but at his father's runway show, flanked by both parents, was deliberate. It said, "We control the narrative now." But why now? Why choose this moment for Riot's reveal? Because what came next would make the picture even clearer. This wasn't just a sweet family moment. This was a performance. A carefully calculated visual statement layered in meaning. Riot Rose wasn't just attending his dad's show. He was being introduced to the world as a part of the show. And not just any part, the heart of it. Seated front and center, flanked by Rihanna, a global fashion and music icon, and ASAP Rocky, the creative force behind the entire event, Riot became the unspoken centerpiece. Let's be clear.
Honestly, truly blessed. For real, you know?
Nearly a year later, Rocky opened up about the relationship for the first time in
Celebrities don't just bring their toddlers to high fashion events. Paris Fashion Week isn't Coachella. It's controlled, elite, ruthlessly scrutinized. The stakes are sky high. Every look, every seat, every photo has meaning. So for a 1-year-old to be placed there, not backstage, not protected from the press, but on Rihanna's lap in the front row, was no accident. It was symbolic, because this show wasn't just about clothes. It was about legacy, about what Rocky is building, not just as an artist, but as a father. Aga, Rocky's fashion label, has always been a reflection of his identity. Streetwear meets fine tailoring. Chaos meets control. Now with Riot sitting literally inside that vision, it's clear.
I'm not gonna let that happen here.
As friends, the two continued to support each other for years. In 2013,
Rocky's identity has shifted. This isn't just about the brand, it's about the bloodline. And Rihanna? She didn't fade into the background either. Pregnant with their third child, she sat tall and radiant, wearing a striped button-down left daringly open to reveal her baby bump. No apologies, no modesty, just power. Paired with a pleated miniskirt and scrunched gray socks, it was classic Rhi. Defiant, rule-breaking, unbothered. Her fashion spoke volumes, but her positioning said even more. With Riot on her lap and her bump on full display, she was declaring, "This is motherhood redefined. Glamorous, public, dominant."
You were a teenager, and if I told you at the time that you were going to make soccer moms sexy, you would have looked at me.
She wasn't hiding the mess or the miracle. She was owning both. What's wild is how far they've come. When their first son, RZ, was born in 2022, the couple was intensely private. Photos of him didn't emerge for months. Interviews were vague. Appearances were rare. It felt like they were holding something sacred, protecting it from the noise. But now, everything's changed. Riot's debut wasn't just a reveal. It was a transition. From guarding their story to telling it, loudly, on their terms, in front of the whole world. And what does it mean that they chose this moment, this venue, this city, this show, to unveil their next chapter? It means they're not just navigating celebrity, they're engineering legacy.
Congratulations!
Thank you, boo!
3 under 3 months?
Oh my God, they have us like
I know.
in the forest
I
here.
look like I'm
Because for Rihanna and Rocky, the spotlight isn't a threat anymore, it's home. And their son? He looks like he was born to live in it. But while Riot may be stealing attention, there's another player in this family with a totally different vibe. And the contrast couldn't be more entertaining. Every family has that one kid who's the storm. And in Rihanna and ASAP Rocky's household, his name is Riot. While RZ, their eldest, quietly soaks up the world with wide eyes and books in hand, Riot crashes through it like a walking exclamation point. From the moment he wakes up, he's making noise. Not crying, not fussing, just screaming, singing, shouting. According to Rihanna herself, he's my alarm clock.
Realized the significance of it, right? Like, he was like, all right, you wanted something, bro. You wanted something. This was a daring fashion statement.
And there's no snooze button. ASAP Rocky put it even more bluntly.
And an unknown, he
In an
agreed to
interview
fly
with
out
Vogue,
to
he
do it for
laughed about
cheap.
their
Granted,
contrasting
it was
personalities. The older one, he stays to himself. He likes his books. The younger one, he likes to take stuff from his brother so his brother can chase him. It's more than just sibling play. It's the beginning of a dynamic. One that's already setting the tone for how this next generation of stars might carry the weight of their last names. RZA, named after the legendary Wu-Tang Clan frontman, has always represented something sacred. A homage, a legacy, the kid with the quiet demeanor, soaking in the world before making a move. You can picture him growing into the role of protector, strategist, the thinker. But Riot, his name is his personality.
Isn't it crazy how it goes fast, right? And you know this now because it's your second child.
right? I mean, 2 boys as well. It's just like, it's
Wild,
the significance of it,
joyful,
right? Like, he was like, all right, you wanted something, bro.
He's
You
not
wanted
waiting to
something.
be
This was a
introduced.
daring fashion
He's
statement.
already made his entrance. That Fashion Week debut was just the latest example. You don't sit a calm, reserved baby in front of 100 flashbulbs and expect grace. Yet somehow he delivered. And that's what's fascinating, because Riot wasn't just calm, he looked confident, comfortable in the heat, relaxed in chaos. That kind of composure at that age, it either comes from being used to the spotlight or being meant for it. Meanwhile, RZA remains their little mystery, still shielded, still growing, still tucked behind quiet moments and private glimpses. But together, they form a duo that could shape an empire.
To hop into someone else's shoes for a day, who would it be and why?
You know what? My kids.
Really?
The reserved older brother, the explosive younger one, both born into fame, but clearly headed in very different directions. And the best part? Their parents are letting it happen naturally, Because while most celebrity kids are hidden from the world, Rihanna and Rocky are choosing to reveal their children's personalities as they unfold. No fake perfection, no pre-approved image. Just the raw, chaotic beauty of watching two young spirits take form. But Riot's energy, it's not just playful, it's creative. And it turns out his fire has already sparked something major. In fact, he's already inspired a hit. Rihanna didn't just walk into Paris Fashion Week. She floated in, pregnant, powerful, and unapologetically herself.
Because they have it the best. They're living the greatest life.
It seems like it.
Yes. Oh my God.
She wasn't trying to blend into the chaos. She was the chaos. That striped shirt, left open just enough to show off her growing baby bump, wasn't a wardrobe choice. It was a statement, a refusal to dim down motherhood for the sake of fashion or fame or comfort. With a pleated miniskirt swinging above knee-high gray socks and razor-sharp heels, she embodied something rare. A woman who commands attention without ever asking for it. But behind the bold outfits and viral photos lies something deeper. Rihanna isn't just becoming a mother again. She's becoming the kind of matriarch pop culture hasn't seen before. One who's rewriting what motherhood looks like, sounds like, and even dresses like. She once said in an interview that giving birth to her sons was by far the most powerful thing I've ever done as a woman. Not launching Fenty Beauty, not breaking Billboard records, not the Super Bowl halftime show, no. It was motherhood that made her feel invincible.
It seems like it.
Yes. Oh my God.
Another video shows the two getting silly during a plane ride.
And if you need proof of just how seriously she takes that role, scroll back to March 8th, International Women's Day. Rihanna posted a photo holding both of her sons when they were newborns, captioning it, "By far the most powerful thing I've ever done as a woman, my little miracles." Then she added something that only Rihanna could casually drop. And yes, I gave birth in pearls and sunglasses. Don't ask, a lot was happening. It was funny, it was iconic, but it was also revealing. Rihanna isn't trying to separate the glam from the grit. She's fusing them together. She's not hiding the exhaustion or pretending motherhood is all perfection. She's just saying, I'm doing it my way. Even her pregnancy reveals have broken the mold. No magazine covers or stage paparazzi shots. Her second pregnancy?
Crazy how it goes fast, right? And you know this now because it's your second child.
Right? I mean, 2 boys as well. It's just like, it's
She debuted it live during the Super Bowl halftime show. Clad in fire red and surrounded by backup dancers, she rubbed her belly in front of millions as if to say, yeah, I'm doing this while running the world. And now, with baby number 3 on the way, she's doubled down, choosing to showcase the pregnancy in bold fashion statements, not hushed interviews. She's never looked more in control. Because Rihanna's not just having children, she's creating a dynasty and doing it with style, strength, and full volume pride. But no dynasty is complete without the family's blessing. And that's exactly what came next. From someone nobody expected. If there's one thing more powerful than public praise,
Crazy how it goes fast, right? And you know this now because it's your second child.
right? I mean, 2 boys as well. It's just like, it's
family approval. And when ASAP Rocky's grandmother Kathy sat down and spoke about Rihanna, she didn't hold back. Forget tabloid speculation, forget celebrity gossip. This was real. In an interview that caught many by surprise, Kathy joined Rocky and offered a rare look behind the curtain. No media training, no PR filter, just honesty. Warm, unshaken, and deeply telling. I'm glad that he settled down, she said, beaming, and I'm happy with who he settled down with. Simple words, but coming from a grandmother.
And how late? Be honest, how late did it go?
Well, that picture of me and my grandmother is us walking out of the after party at 8 a.m.
That's a stamp of permanence. For years, fans speculated whether Rihanna and Rocky were in it for the long haul. Dating rumors swirled, headlines flipped back and forth, and their famously private nature only fueled the guessing game. But this, Kathy's quiet confirmation wasn't just approval, it was acceptance into the family. And Rocky didn't hesitate to back it up. He lit up talking about the relationship between Rihanna and his grandmother, saying, "She loves her some Riri." And that's the thing. Rihanna wasn't just accepted into Rocky's life. She was embraced by his roots, his home, his bloodline. In a world where fame often isolates people from their families, where relationships crash under public pressure, this one has only grown stronger. Not because it's been perfect, but because it's been real. And there's something poetic about it all. Rihanna, the same woman who once dominated every red carpet alone, who defined independence for an entire generation of fans.
The respect that you have to put on a soccer mom's name. I think women are starting to get it, and they're making it.
Now glows even brighter when surrounded by family. She's still the same icon, still the boss. But now she's also someone's partner, someone's mom, someone's granddaughter-in-law. That softness, that grounding, it's part of her evolution. And the people closest to Rocky, the ones who raised him, who shaped him, see it. And they love her for it. Because for all the headlines and public appearances, the real test of any relationship is how it holds up when nobody's watching. And from the sound of it, behind closed doors, Rihanna has already passed with flying colors. But while grandma might be giving blessings, the story of how Rihanna and Rocky got here, it was anything but straightforward.
Congratulations, Rihanna, for Fenty.
Because their love story didn't begin with romance. It began with distance, tension, and years of waiting. Before the babies, before the Met Gala appearances, and long before Grandma Kathy gave her blessing, they were just two artists, orbiting each other for years. Rihanna and ASAP Rocky's love story didn't start with fireworks. It started with timing, or rather a series of missed ones. The year was 2012. They performed together at the MTV VMAs, sharing the stage for Cockiness, and the chemistry was instant. Not just flirty, magnetic. So much so that fans started asking if something was going on, but nothing came of it, at least not publicly. By 2013, they were touring together. Again, the rumors swirled. Again, nothing was confirmed. They kept it light, professional, maybe even a little distant.
And ASAP fueled romance rumors when they were spotted spending time together in both New York City and Rihanna's home country of
But the tension, it was always there. Over the next few years, they'd pop up at the same events. Sometimes photographed together, sometimes not. In 2018, they were spotted side by side at the Louis Vuitton menswear show in Paris. In 2019, they showed up at the Fashion Awards, looking almost too coordinated to not be a couple. Still, they said nothing. Just two stylish people with a shared history, refusing to give the public anything more. But behind the scenes, the story was already changing. Fast forward to late 2019, Rihanna finally confirmed in an interview years later that this was when things really began. "I've seen him in relationships. He's seen me in relationships," she said. "And we just knew now was the right time." What followed was a slow, intentional unfolding. They didn't rush to make things Instagram official. They weren't spotted on a dozen back-to-back date nights. It was subtle, quiet.
2021, ASAP Rocky confirmed his relationship with Rihanna in an interview with GQ, calling Riri the love of his life.
Grown. And that may be exactly why it's worked. This wasn't a whirlwind romance. It was a friendship that aged into something deeper. A bond that simmered under the surface for nearly a decade before either of them said yes. And once they did, everything changed. By early 2022, Rihanna was pregnant with their first child. And the secret was so sacred, even her closest friends didn't know. "It was harder for me to keep it from my posse," she laughed. "They're like, 'You don't want something to drink? You're not smoking?'" They had no idea they were witnessing history in the making. From flirty collaborators to full-blown family, their relationship has unfolded like a long game of chess. Measured, smart, and surprisingly private for two of the world's most visible stars. But if those early years were about keeping things quiet, the past 2 years have been anything but. Because Rihanna and Rocky haven't just stepped into parenthood, they've used it to launch an entirely new kind of fame.
January 2022, Rihanna and ASAP revealed that they are expecting their first child. Riri and ASAP.
At first glance, it's easy to see Rihanna and ASAP Rocky as just two artists who became parents. But that would be missing the bigger picture entirely. Because all of this, isn't just about babies. It's about building an empire. One that's rooted in art, music, fashion, and now, family. Take Riot, for example. He wasn't just given a trendy name. He was the inspiration behind one of Rocky's most talked about tracks. Riot, Rowdy Pipin', a full-fledged chart-topping celebration of chaos and creativity, born straight from his son's personality. That wild, unpredictable energy, it's not just happening at home. It's bleeding into Rocky's art, into his sound, into his identity. And that's the shift. These kids aren't just part of their lives, they're part of their brand.
Blessed, for real, you know?
The rapper who shares sons Riot and RZA with Rihanna, sharing these sweet at-home moments.
From matching photo shoots to subtle song references to high-fashion front-row appearances, Riot and RZA are being woven into the fabric of Rihanna and Rocky's creative worlds. They're not props, they're muses. Rihanna's no stranger to world building. She built Fenty from the ground up. Not just a beauty brand, but a cultural force that changed how the industry thinks about diversity. She didn't just launch products, she launched standards. And now she's doing the same with motherhood. Because let's be honest, how many billion-dollar moguls post about giving birth in pearls and sunglasses? Rihanna does. And not to flex, to redefine. And Rocky, he's following suit.
I'm super proud of their dad. That's my baby daddy.
How do you think he's changed the fashion game?
I think he's always influenced the fashion.
His EWGE line isn't just about edgy streetwear anymore. It's turning into a canvas. One where he can showcase family, heritage, and rebellion all in the same breath. Riot's Fashion Week debut wasn't just adorable, it was branding. And it worked. But what makes all of this so fascinating isn't just the strategy. It's the fact that underneath all the planning, you can still feel the authenticity. They're not oversharing. They're not manufacturing moments. They're simply letting their life become the art. And in doing so, they're creating a kind of fame that transcends tabloid culture. This isn't about shock value. It's about legacy. A new blueprint is emerging. One where Black love, Black creativity, and Black family are not just present.
Unique sense of style that I think designers have honed in on and actually used.
But center stage in global culture. And they're doing it on their terms, in their timing, with their children beside them, not hidden, not silenced, but celebrated. Because Rihanna and Rocky aren't just raising kids. They're shaping a narrative and inviting the world to witness it. But the most telling part of their transformation, it's how they've chosen to reveal it. Not in private, but on the world's loudest, most glamorous stage. At this point, it's clear. Rihanna and ASAP Rocky aren't just raising a family, they're redefining what family in the spotlight can look like. And they're not doing it behind closed doors anymore.
Their sons, ASAP and Riri, don't mess around.
They know they're loved.
When Rihanna showed up at the 2025 Met Gala, visibly pregnant with baby number 3, it wasn't an afterthought. It wasn't a reveal hidden in a caption or buried in a press release. It was loud, proud, intentional. The woman who once kept her first pregnancy a secret from her closest friends was now announcing life on the world's most exclusive red carpet. Why the change? Because something shifted. Not just in their relationship, but in their purpose. They're not protecting a private love story anymore. They're showcasing a legacy in progress. This isn't just about showing up to events and looking flawless. It's about showing growth, transparency, power. In the span of just a few years, Rihanna has gone from pop queen to business mogul to matriarch in chief. And she's done it without pausing her identity. She hasn't disappeared into motherhood. She's expanded inside it. And Rocky? He's no longer just the cool, detached rapper with a strong aesthetic.
Out all the stops for RZA's second B-Day bash, hosting a party at the Color Factory in NYC.
He's evolved into a hands-on father, a creative partner, a man who beams when talking about the chaos his son brings into the house. He's making music with his children in mind, designing with his family by his side. They're not trying to escape fame, they're re-engineering it. Where most celebrity parents duck from the spotlight once the kids arrive, Rihanna and Rocky are using it as a stage to celebrate not perfection, but evolution. They're showing the mess, the noise, the pearls during labor, and somehow turning it into something aspirational. And the world? It's not just watching, it's rooting for them. Because in a culture obsessed with image, they're offering something real, something raw, something that says, we're still becoming, and that's the point. From 2012 collaborators to 2025 co-creators of life and art,
RZA's cute little face was everywhere.
Just like seeing his morning face is the cutest.
Rihanna and ASAP Rocky are no longer just celebrities. They're architects of a legacy, a family, and a new version of what it means to love loudly. And their latest Fashion Week moment, it wasn't just a family outing, it was a symbol, a headline, a blueprint. But there's one question that lingers. Was this all part of a bigger plan? Or is the world just now catching up to the future they've already started building? So what did we really witness in Paris? A toddler in the front row? A pregnant icon in heels? A rapper turned designer proudly sharing the spotlight with his son? Sure, but it was also something more. Something bigger. This was a new chapter unfolding. Not just in the lives of Rihanna and ASAP Rocky, but in how we understand fame, family, and legacy in the modern world. It was a moment that merged high fashion with raw humanity. A curated debut that somehow felt intimate. Riot Rose didn't just show up to Fashion Week. He arrived as the next symbol of a legacy that's no longer just music or makeup, not just streetwear or red carpets. A legacy that now walks, laughs, sings in the morning, and runs off with his brother's toys. And the world? It watched, photographed, gasped. But for Rihanna and Rocky, this wasn't about shock or strategy. It was about belonging. Belonging in the spotlight, as a unit, on their own terms. Because this isn't a couple fumbling through fame anymore. This is a family that's learning to use it, to tell a story, to set a tone, to build something lasting. The first time they stood side by side on stage in 2012, no one could have guessed what was coming. But now it all makes sense. The chemistry, the friendship, the slow burn, the quiet beginnings that gave birth to the loudest, proudest, most unapologetic family reveal we've seen in years. So no, Riot's debut wasn't just adorable. It was intentional, transformative, historic. And if this is how they're introducing their children to the world, we can only imagine what's coming next.